Again, Northeast Ohio, welcome into What's New and happy Friday. What a week it has been, but we made it. We made it through. Thanks so much for spending time with us, with Betsy Kling. I'm Jay Crawford. More importantly, you made it. I know it's for the weather folks. Man, you guys were churning that midnight oil, and it's been a long week, but I want to give you kudos because you told us what we were going to get, and I looked at the snowfall totals earlier today, and you got it.
Pretty darn close.
You nailed it, and the team was fantastic. Congratulations to you guys.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Absolutely. All right, we begin today at 5 with developing news. Former Strongsville priest Robert McWilliams died in prison this morning. According to the coroner, his death is being investigated as a suicide. McWilliams was serving a life sentence at the Allenwood Federal Prison. That's in Pennsylvania. The former priest pleaded guilty last year to federal charges of sex trafficking, child pornography, and exploiting children. The Catholic Diocese of Cleveland previously defrocked McWilliams, meaning he was stripped of his status as a priest. We do want to mention the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. If you or anyone you know is struggling with thoughts of suicide, please call the number you see at the bottom of your screen.
Well, switching gears now to that other big story impacting all of Northeast Ohio. The brunt of the winter storm is over, and now it's cleanup time. Our Jason Michael joins us now with just how much snow we got. And Jason, the totals are still coming in. We don't have any final snow totals yet, but in general, we're hearing a lot of that, anywhere from 7 to 12 inches. I think that's pretty much the consensus.
Absolutely, Betsy. And as Jay was saying, you called it. This is what we've been talking about all week long, that narrative still holding strong. And now we can take a sigh of relief, and as we prepare for the next story, as we are nearing the weekend, that comes in the form of cold. And you can already see, I wanted to start out by showing you radar what it looks like right now, because the cold air has moved in across Northeast Ohio, upper levels, and also at the surface, and still picking up a little bit of activity farther south. Once that freezing rain got out of these areas south along the 70, 71, 77 corridor, they started to change over and really start to accumulate some snowfall, over 6 inches in some spots. Easily. Temperatures right now a bit more still on the chilly side, mid to upper teens, low 20s still down south. The cold air will settle in, my friends, because of the strong north-northwest wind up to about 10 miles per hour. Gusty winds no longer a factor. That's good news for us. That means that low has pulled off and it's going to start to chill us down. Feels like temperatures still in the single digits right now. It's going to be sub-zero overnight tonight, and we'll talk about that coming up a little bit later in the full forecast. Jay and Bets?
Yeah, we definitely switch gears from the snow to the cold. And, you know, the ice was a big complicating factor, too. And now on your feet at 5, it's cleanup day. And that cleanup is daunting for all areas. But here in Cleveland, many eyes have been watching the city in particular after new Mayor Justin Bibb promised better plowing results. Well, our Mark Namick is covering this story for us today. And Mark, City Hall's snow removal response showed some improvements downtown. I will say that, but you also found that there's a lot of residents that are still digging out.
That's right, Betsy. But first, I want to say it feels like a spring day today compared to yesterday. I'm not getting pelted in the face by snow and ice, so I do feel that cold coming in a little bit. But Mother Nature certainly tested the patience of residents and tested City Hall's response, which they've promised would be better since last month's snowstorm. Now, I stood on this street yesterday from a different angle as people waited for a snowplow, and you can look down, there are cars stuck right now. The city said they were diverting trucks to some of the side streets earlier than they normally would. And by this morning, most of the main roads were clear, and we followed snowplow trucks during midday today on some of these very streets. Now, this street is a challenge because, as you can see, there are a lot of cars here making it hard for a plow to get down. I did see a plow come through here. But I would say, you know, most residents felt there was some improvement. Here's what they had to say.
Well, it's been a little bit improved. I actually saw the plow come down the side street, but it was after I got stuck. The response is a little bit better than it was before. It's some of the side streets are getting done. They usually weren't done until a couple of days after that, you know.
Yeah. Now, City Hall continues to say they need new technology, more trucks, more crews. That's going to take time. And on Monday, this coming Monday, the head of the snow plowing for the city of Cleveland will be answering questions before City Council, a chance to really drill down for people that live here and those that work here to find out what's to come. Betsy?
Yeah, certainly a lot of kudos for those plow drivers that were out. They have some challenging times. A lot of folks are still parked on the street, even with the parking bans. Mark Namick, thank you very much. Hope those folks get out of that snow behind you, most certainly. We're going to change over now to Will Ewick, who is farther south in Summit County. Will, how are the roads looking there?
Yeah, Betsy, on the way down here, 77 looked clear, but you mentioned the cold temperatures. It's still icy. I actually had 3 spinouts that I passed in Summit County on 77. Here in Akron, though, you can see all the snow they got still coming down a little bit, but it's the temperatures right now. This is what they had to move aside. They said they got to all the main streets. I can confirm that. The main ones look pretty fine, but looking back behind me, some of the side streets, Akron mayor says that they are about 50% done. They're hoping to get to all of them by 6 o'clock tonight, and then they can start concentrating on those third and kind of back channel roads that they need to work on. As far as ODOT, they're still on 12 on, 12 off shifts right now, trying to get this down. They tell me, though, most of the snow is gone. They're working on salting and brining right now to try to keep these roads clear and get rid of some of that ice that seems to be causing some issues out there, Betsy.
Yeah, that black ice is legit threat as we go through the night tonight. The temperatures are going to continue to drop. Thanks so much, Will.
All right, let's check in now on our eastern suburbs, where conditions are also improving. We spoke to people in Willoughby as they dug themselves out of a foot of snow today. In fact, one lady telling 3 News she's pretty happy because her kids are taking care of clearing her driveway as part of her Christmas gift this year. A man there told us this is all just part of living in Northeast Ohio.
It's great. You just got to be careful because when it's heavy, you don't need to give yourself a heart attack. And people got to remember that.
Normally we do our own, but this year they thought, it's about time. So we loved it.
It's never as bad when someone else takes care of cleaning the driveway. By the way, Rob, the first guy you heard from there, he says that he spent most of his life in Buffalo, so it is weather like this, Betsy, that makes him feel right at home.
My goodness. Yeah, that cleanup continues. Well, we change directions now and take a look at the latest on the coronavirus. And while new cases continue to drop, Ohio is leading the nation in coronavirus deaths per capita this week. The figures, doctors say, are a startling reminder that we are still in the pandemic. Sarah Shookman reports on how local hospitals are still in need of help.
Inside SUMA's Akron campus, it's clear the coronavirus has yet to let up.
But our hospital is still occupied, at 100%. We are still juggling beds to get patients in and out. We have prolonged stays in the ED and what we call boarding still.
Campus president Dr. David Custodio says while they're encouraged by case numbers and other leading indicators, we're not out of the woods.
We're hopeful that light at the end of the tunnel isn't another train coming at us.
Morning, everyone.
This week, a medical team from the U.S. Army started to fill in the gaps in SUMA's staffing. 25 soldiers, 22 of them working clinically as physicians, nurses, respiratory therapists, and medics. They plan for a 30-day deployment.
It is literally, pun intended, a shot in the arm for our staffs taking care of folks here.
Like at Cleveland Clinic, FEMA approved the aid. There, a team of 20 U.S. Air Force personnel continue to work alongside staff on hospital floors and in the ER. As of Monday, the clinic has again been able to support non-essential procedures postponed since early December. At SUMA, overall COVID cases have dropped from their peak by 2/3, but the census remains extremely high. Dr. Custodio says now is the time to stay diligent.
It's not an either or. It is vaccination and those other safety measures that we've heard throughout this pandemic of masking, social distancing, hand washing, and avoiding those large crowds and gatherings. We're getting close, and if we can continue on these trends, then hopefully soon we'll be back to a better state. But we need patience, and we need cooperation to get there.
In Akron, Sarah Shookman, 3 News.
Sarah, thanks. Browns owner Jimmy Haslam weighing in now on the bombshell allegations made by former Browns head coach Hugh Jackson earlier this week that he was actually paid money to lose games on purpose. Initially, the Browns wasted no time. They immediately fired out a statement categorically denying Jackson's allegations. But yesterday, Haslam was speaking to the media. He told the Knoxville News-Sentinel Jackson, quote, has never accepted blame for one thing, end quote. He added his claim is an absolute falsehood. Jackson was 1-15 in his first season with the Browns. Then in 2016, he followed that up with just the second ever 0-16 record in NFL history. In his third season, he was fired halfway through. His record at the time was just 2-5-1. So there's still a lot about the story, Bets, we don't know, because Hugh Jackson claims to have proof, documents that show that the Browns indeed paid him to lose games intentionally. He's been asked a number of times to show that proof, and so far he has said no, he'll do it at the proper time. I just want to point out, during his time here, he won 3 of his 40 football games.
It's not great.
No, it's not great. He's currently the head coach at Grambling, and we certainly wish him well there. I think that's a great spot for him, and we certainly hope that he does well there and helps that historic, really great football program. But there's a lot we don't know about this story. It continues to unfold, and as we learn more about it, we'll pass it on to you.
And it's not exactly like just a little shade he's throwing. I mean, it's bombshell type stuff.
That's the point. It really is. This isn't just an off-the-cuff comment. This is striking at the very heart of what is the most important element of the NFL, and that's integrity. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see lawsuits flying in this case before it's all said and done.
Wait and see. Well, speaking of wait and see, some of you may have already seen, but I'm still waiting to see. The Winter Olympics officially kicked off this morning in Beijing after an amazing opening ceremony. We have the details coming up next.
It really is a visual spectacle. It's unbelievable. If you haven't seen it, you do need to make an appointment viewing tonight. Then, a teaser's been released for the upcoming new Hulu show, The Kardashians. Jay, I wonder what that could be about. Kira has all of that ahead in Pop Break.
And Jason is in tonight with your forecast, or I should say Jason is out tonight with your forecast. How'd you draw this short straw, Jay?
You know what? I didn't go too far. I just kind of stepped out on the back deck. I know a lot of people are asking about our beautiful ice desk. Don't worry, it's not going to melt despite having milder temperatures. But if you have to, if you want to go outside, train is going by. Beautiful look at our lake there, and I'm even seeing some sun peaks. Bundle up, my friends. I can assure you it is cold. That full forecast is coming up next.
Oh, I love that music. That means it's time for the Olympics. It's like
it emotes a good feeling.
That's the John Williams music, right?
Yes,
if I'm not
is.
mistaken.
And it's tremendous.
It is. It's perfect for the event, certainly. It is official now, everybody. About 6 months after the Summer Olympics wrapped up, now the Winter Olympics are kicking off.
Yeah, the opening ceremony was this morning here in the United States, but with time change, obviously it was already Friday night in Beijing. The show opened with an absolutely stunning light show with performers holding long lighted willows in a celebration of the coming spring. That was followed by a computer-generated block of ice. Look at this, Bets. As much as we like our ice desk and it's fancy and cool,
that one's a lot warmer.
I had a little ice envy looking at that. It was this block of ice emerging from the floor created by lasers. And then the traditional parade of nations began, including the 224 athletes that will represent the United States. Old Glory waving proudly there in that shot. The show was live this morning on 3 News. If you missed it, though, do not fret. We're going to show it in its entirety tonight in prime time right here on NBC.
I always wonder about the people who are, they kind of form the barrier for the Parade of Nations.
Right.
And the entire time they're standing there dancing and doing stuff. It's like, walk faster, people.
They're exhausted afterwards.
I'm getting tired.
Because there's a lot of countries and a whole lot of athletes. One note for you, Rocky River native Red Gerard is going to be competing tomorrow night. You may remember he won a gold in the snowboard slope style event in the 2018 games. So now he's a seasoned vet. This is his second Olympic Games, so good luck to him.
Came out of nowhere. We're very proud to have him come home. There's parade and everything. We know how to welcome our athletes back. Just ask Katie Najat. She knows. Actually, Jason also knows because we were applauding when he walked in today. Well done yesterday and all of this week.
Thank you.
You have now given us the live report outside on current conditions, so we'll let you warm up a little bit, thaw out while you give us the forecast.
And might I add, Bets, I don't know if you know this. Well, obviously you know this. I've been here 5 months now, and that was my first live shot since I've been here.
Wow.
Is that true?
We will let you out once in a while. We did not stipulate that.
We can stick you out at the ice desk as much as you want. I mean, it's up to you.
I might have to put a pack of meat or something out there to stay cold because that ice, it is cold out there, my friends. I don't have to tell you that. In fact, we're going to be talking about what's happening here over the next couple of days here. You're going to be surprised. We're kind of getting a bit of relief here as far as the snowfall is concerned. We still see some of it coming down. You can see south on 77, over towards Youngstown, Brown, our Tuscarawas, Carroll, even Stark County is picking up some light snowfall there. That is not to say that we will not get any more snow over the next couple days. We'll still see some light flurries to light snows out there, but again, no major accumulations. So thank goodness for that. We have a strong north wind coming in off of our lake right now that's chilling things off at the surface. The upper levels are also cold as well, a 5 to 10 mile per hour north-northwest wind. We have feels like temperatures near the single digits. 10, you can see there for Elyria stretching over towards the north and also east. Ashtabula at 11, pair of 11s. You can see here a pair of 1s you can see for Youngstown, 1-4 for Akron, Canton. Feels like 15 for our friends down in Dover and also Philadelphia. This is the system that brought us all that snowfall, that pesky, slushy, nasty, ugly weather the past 24 to 36 hours. And if you don't mind me, I'm just going to say bye-bye, get on out of here. That is no longer going to be a threat for us over the next several days here. So cold air settling in tonight. That's what's new. Quiet and few days expected there. And also another weather system is going to be taking shape. That's what we're going to be watching here. So over the next 24 hours, you can see this, your National Design Bar hour-by-hour forecast. Temperatures expected to bob and weave between the upper single digits to low teens overnight tonight. A few light snows, as I said before, could cascade across the area, but we have a strong north wind throughout the afternoon tomorrow. High pressure settles in, starts to thin out our clouds a little bit for us on our Saturday heading into Sunday. So that's good news for us. We'll elaborate on this in the second half hour. You can see there, but look at these temperatures in the daytime. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, mid to upper 30s. This is great news, Jay. We like to see it.
I love to see it. Yeah, I'd love to see something in the 40s, but I'll wait and we'll see it, I'm sure, in March.
June.
Sure.
June is right around the corner.
I'm not waiting until June, Bets. I'm going to put in a special request, and it's going right to the chief.
Baby steps.
Next on What's New, Oprah Winfrey reveals the cast of a new movie musical version of A Color Purple. We'll share that next in Pop Break.
Then putting things in perspective. One TikToker is going viral for what she said about the snow. That is our Worth the Watch that's coming up.
That music means it's time for our Friday pop break. One iconic family is returning to the silver screen while an iconic film is getting a redo.
That's right, and some fans are taking action against Travis Scott for the Astroworld incident. Kira Cotton has it all covered for you today in today's pop break.
Hip-hop artist Travis Scott will now face just one lawsuit stemming from the tragedy that took place at his Astroworld Music Festival back in November. Officials in Texas ruled last week that nearly 400 lawsuits will be combined into one for a single judge. According to reports, the move was agreed on by both sides. The lawsuit will represent nearly 2,800 victims from the music festival that left 10 dead and hundreds of others injured. The victims are seeking billions in damages and alleging negligence in the planning and managing of the music festival. The Texas state judge who will handle the case has not yet been named. And the Kardashians will soon be back on the silver screen. On Friday, Hulu released the first teaser video of the family's new show. The 15-second video asks fans if they're ready while displaying the Kardashians' way of life. Kendall Jenner tells fans they have no idea what's coming. The show was first announced back in December, just months after the family confirmed the end of their long-running show, Keeping Up with the Kardashians. And the 1985 classic, The Color Purple, is getting a remake, and it's found its leading ladies. During Soul of a Nation last night, Oprah Winfrey, who starred in the original, congratulated American Idol Season 3 winner Fantasia and Orange is the New Black alum Danielle Brooks on their leading roles. The two women will play Celie and Sophia respectively. Fantasia and Brooks join a star-studded cast including Taraji P. Henson, Her, and Halle Bailey. The film is set to begin production this spring and is slated for a 2023 release. And last but certainly not least, we want to send a special congratulations to Olivia Rodrigo. The 18-year-old singer was named Billboard's Woman of the Year today. She'll be honored during next month's Women in Music Awards. Jay and Betsy.
How do you follow that up when you're 18 and you're Woman of the Year?
Yeah.
That's a lot of pressure.
You got a lot of living left to do, girlfriend. All right. Thanks so much, Kira. Have a great weekend. All right, everybody, now it's time for the Worth the Watch, and this pretty much sums up how a lot of us felt when we woke up this morning and looked out the window.
We don't have earthquakes, we don't have hurricanes, we don't have alligators. We don't have earthquakes, we don't have hurricanes, we don't have alligators.
All right, so we do get little tiny earthquakes, but this gal is out of Maine, and it's still pretty relatable to us, right? Isn't that what you're saying as you're trying to scrape it off? And a lot of people had to go through ice, not just snow, as they cleaned off their cars this morning. But
I saw that earlier this week, and I was honestly, I'm like, this is exactly how I feel. I mean, you talk yourself into
focus on the positive.
Everything's okay. Everything's going to be. June's not that far away.
No, it's coming.
You know, it's going to be here before you know it.
The sunset is after 5 p.m.
The days are getting longer. we're like a glass is 3/4 full, you and I.
And filling up quick.
That's the way to do it. I'm telling you, it's the only way to get through life. All right, coming up in the second half hour of What's New, Up and Running. We check in with Cleveland Hopkins International Airport on its operations post-snowstorm. So how are they dealing with all of those delays and cancellations today?
Plus, Prime price hike. Just how much you can expect to pay for Amazon Prime and starting when. Yes, the cost is going up, and we have the details in today's Clicking in Cleveland.
Just another thing that's getting more expensive. Please stop.
Still worth it.
Then the Winter Games are officially underway. We're going to go live to Beijing later. We'll check in on how Team USA fared today.
Three, two, 1, 1, 2, 3. We're here at Cleveland Hopkins International Airport, where you can see there are about 24 cancellations and delays currently, but people
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
We start tonight with 3 things you need to know now at 5:30. Former Strongsville priest Robert McWilliams died in prison this morning. According to the coroner, his death is being investigated as a suicide. You may remember McWilliams was serving a life sentence at the Ohioans Federal Prison in Pennsylvania. The former priest pleaded guilty last year to federal charges of sex trafficking, child pornography, and exploiting children. The Catholic Diocese of Cleveland previously defrocked Williams, meaning he was stripped of his status as a priest. We do want to mention that the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is available if anyone or yourself may be struggling with thoughts of suicide. Please call that number at the bottom of your screen.
Betsy, our second story at 5:30 is just horrific. Walton Hills police are asking for your help tonight, finding a driver who fatally struck a pedestrian and left the scene. This incident happened Wednesday evening as the winter storm moved in just before 7 p.m. near the intersection of Northfield Road and Alexander, where there are no sidewalks. Family members say 31-year-old Brandon Foster was leaving work, heading to the bus stop when he was struck and killed, leaving behind 3 children with no father.
My brother just left 3 small children behind, and this is a double whammy because my brothers and I just buried my mother 5 months ago, and to turn around to bury my big brother. I'm hurt.
Police are looking for a 2014 or later black Toyota 4Runner, similar to the one that's on your screen now. It will have heavy damage to the front end. Anyone with information that could help is asked to call the Walton Hills Police Department.
Well, we do want to show you a live look now at downtown Cleveland. The city was hit hard, just like many other parts of our viewing area. As a matter of fact, the entire viewing area. City residents say that city crews did a better job at times clearing the roads this time around the city. They say they need new technology, more trucks and crews to handle these big winter weather blasts, something that time and money will certainly help with a lot. That was that side street Mark Namick was out on earlier. But down in Summit County, the main roads seem to be clear, but they are still slick. Our Will Ewick said he witnessed 3 spinouts on 77. Back roads are still messy, so make sure you take it slow. And that tonight is really going to be kind of the setup to the next thing that's settling in on this, and this is this cold air.
Oh, okay.
Because we are going to get so cold tonight down in the single digits. That's where even road salt, regular road salt, just is not effective. Yeah. So even though the roads may be just wet now, as the night progresses, we'll probably see some more icing up. So just be real careful. I will say, and we have been critical, and rightfully so, of the snow removal on Cleveland streets in the past. I noticed a difference. Today, I noticed a difference with this storm. I don't know if anybody saw it, but last night I did a Facebook Live. After 9 o'clock, I did an update. And I went and I walked around downtown Cleveland on a Facebook Live. I wanted to go out and experience the storm. No cars. I helped push a car out. I mean, it was very exciting. But it was really interesting to see just how horrible the streets were. 15 inches of snow in some spots. It was amazing. So I thought this morning, I was like, oh, Justin Bibb. Here we go. I did too. Oh, Mayor, you got a big thing happen. And I walked out and I'm like, okay, I see pavement and it's salted. I was really stunned. I was too. I was on the streets early this morning downtown, and I was very pleasantly surprised. Now, I know there's still work to be done, and he's acknowledged that, but baby steps here. What he inherited was a mess. Yeah. Everybody can agree on that. And I think he's done some nice things already to make it better quickly. Okay, now to our top talker. The winter storm, of course, caused a lot of delays and cancellations out of Cleveland Hopkins Airport this week. But there appears to be some good news for those trying to make it out of town for a weekend getaway. John Henry from our sister station in Washington, D.C. was kind enough to come to this wonderful storm and help us cover the events in and around our city. John, how are things looking out at the airport today?
You know, it's good news here at the airport. Actually, you can see the flight board right here. We've got about 24 cancellations and delays, definitely down from what it was like yesterday and even on Wednesday. And I talked to some travelers here today at Hopkins who said they understand all of this change, especially given the circumstances of this week. Yeah, so unfortunately, a bit of a technical difficulty there, but there's a pretty good situation here at Hopkins. You can see that there's really no line right now at the airport. People are basically just going to the checkpoint as is right now, no delays. Saw when I first got here about a good 100 people in line. But they say they plan for these situations all year long, especially big snowstorms like the one that we saw. They make sure that they have heat blowers on the tarmac. They put down sand and different types of salt formula on top of that to make sure that planes can fly in and out. And then also here inside the airport, it's all about making sure the amenities are available to the public. So they have daily calls leading up to the storm just to make sure that they can prepare. But as you can see right now, just a few delays and cancellations to other places in the country, but no major issues right now here at Hopkins.
All right,
Guys?
very good. John, I know you talked to the commissioner for part of your story that sadly did not run, but does he have any advice for locals who may be traveling over the weekend? What does he recommend?
Yeah, so Commissioner Khalid Bahur said that he expects, or he says that people should get to the airport about 3 hours early, especially to plan ahead for any changes that could happen. And then on top of that, always make sure to check your flight status ahead of time, just in case you happen to be a cancellation or delay.
Yeah, that's always good advice. I understand you're catching your flight soon to head back to D.C. Is that correct? Is it on time? Everything good?
Yes, that is correct. I am going to be leaving Cleveland in 4 hours, but I've had a wonderful time here. Not my first time here either. It's always a great time to visit, so thank you guys for being so hospitable.
Hopefully we can bring you back for some of our outstanding summer weather so you can see that side of it too. And in all seriousness, John, I know it was a commitment to come here and cover a winter storm like this. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much for doing so, and have safe travels back to D.C.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
He stepped off the plane and he was working, and by golly, we're going to get him all the way to the door. He's working all the way to the back to the plane.
Great work.
All right, still checking in with Northeast Ohio's own hometown hero. We're going to be hearing from Olympic gold medalist Katie Najat in an exclusive podcast interview with our Stephanie Haney.
That's timely for sure, now that the Winter Olympics are here. Then, speaking of the Olympics, as the Winter Games are underway, a mini version of the fun is happening in Lorain County. We're going to take you to the Miller Nature Preserve, where they're doing something really cool for these Olympics.
But first, it is Friday, and that means Jason Michael is with us, and he has our special weather or not image for our Friday.
I'm feeling good, guys.
Oh, okay.
I got my blood back in my extremities.
Okay.
Don't tell my mom.
Nice to see you back
like,
in
Jay,
here.
where's your gloves at?
You didn't have a hat, but that's okay. We'll figure it out.
Don't come at me. Go easy on me. All right. Today's weather or not. Take a look at this picture. It's beautiful, right? Wish we had this weather here. Okay. It is the home of a former famous TV housemaid. Also the home of a former famous baseball player. And recently, they've had over a 1/4 inch of ice.
Ooh!
What's the matter? She's excited, right?
This one kind of goes into my vein a little bit.
We'll have the answer coming up.
That's interesting. We're bending the rules and making them up as we go along. So with this picture, we are like sleuthing during the break.
Yeah.
And we think we kind of have it somewhat nailed down. The baseball player is very difficult.
Yeah, because baseball players are from every city.
That's so your wheelhouse.
Yeah,
They
but
lived
I mean,
there when they were playing.
What's that?
They lived there when they were playing.
Oh, so from that city and also played in that city.
See, he keeps like throwing out these little nuggets that actually
I'm trying to help. I'm having so much fun.
No, he wants us to get it right. If one of us gets it right, it works much better,
right.
I think.
And the maid that was on TV, we figured out the
probably
show
Alice
started in the 60s.
from the Brady Bunch.
We're thinking Brady Bunch Alice, but where was Alice from? Someplace with at least a quarter of an inch of ice. Well, we had at least a quarter of an inch of ice from Texas
and now I know
to
that
New York.
it's home to a Major League Baseball town because he's a team because he said they lived there while they played. Okay, we've got enough to go on. You can proceed.
We will discuss.
I'm about ready to fly right out of here. This is just hilarious.
We badgered him to death.
That is so funny. All right, guys, you remember this graphic? Oh, the frigid air. My goodness, as if we have not had a very hectic week. The cold air is settling on in. Here's where we are right now. Temperatures floating around the 20-degree mark, and then they're going to be falling steadily thereafter as we get this northwest wind to kind of curtail a little bit towards a westerly direction. We still have some light snow showers well down to the south, some light accumulations, nothing too terrible at this hour here. That'll continue, and likely we'll have that continue through tomorrow as well. Look at our wind speeds right now, performing roughly about 5 to 10 miles per hour. With temperatures like this on the surface, and you top that wind on top of that, it's feeling really, really cold out there. Upper single digits in some spots, about 10 degrees you can see at Cuyahoga County Airport. For our friends over in Mansfield, they feel like 9, as well as Worcester and also Elyria at this hour. Let us kind of broaden the scope to show you what's happening here. That system that brought us all of that snowfall, that ice, is getting ready to move on out of here. So we're going to wave bye-bye to that and start talking about what's new and what's to come in the days ahead. So a quiet few days. Thank goodness here, and another weather system is setting up by mid to late next week, and that's where Betsy and I have already been watching in this forecast here. So that's where all that cold air is. We're beginning to move that on out of here. We'll have a ridge build back in, a brief area of high pressure to start the week next week. A weak clipper system moves on in, brings us some light snows late in the day on Monday heading into Tuesday. Another ripple happens in our atmosphere as well. A series of troughs will bring sort of some systems through the area, and this is the one that we're watching by Thursday heading into Friday. Is likely going to bring some more accumulating snowfall, but this is the one that we're going to be watching to really kind of hone in on what happens with that. Whether or not it's like the one we had yesterday remains to be seen. So we'll be studying that one for you. Cloudy skies for our Saturday, beginning in the single digits, even teens likely in the afternoon. 20s expected by Sunday, and will steadily be warming. This is good news for us. Sunday, low 30s, mid to low 30s. Monday, Tuesday, look at that. Wednesday, upper 30s. Dare do we say coming close to 40 degrees? I know Jay likes that. Here's your Union Home Mortgage 7-day, friends. Again, showing that trend to get brighter and brighter by Sunday and Monday. Sun peaks, you can see there are a few flurries by Monday. By Tuesday and Wednesday, we have a little bit more clouds to work with. Flurries late on Wednesday. Scattered snow showers likely on Thursday and Friday as well. But temperatures, again, not too terrible. 20s in the overnight, 30s in the daytime. I think we can deal with that. All right, let's go back to our whether or not right now. Okay, I'll remind you guys, a former TV housemaid, M-A-I-D, lived here.
Maid. Yes.
Yeah, housemaid.
Maid, M-A-I-D.
So here's what we did, Jay. We thought, I said, maybe it's Alice from the Brady Bunch, Ann B. Davis. And then, so Betsy Googled Ann B. Davis.
That is so not true. I did not Google.
No, I did.
I know you did not.
I did not.
I did. I was just playing with Betsy.
And I was laughing because Jay actually knew that the maid on the Brady Bunch was actually played by a lady named Ann B. Davis.
Oh, I know them all.
And he said he won a trivia contest about the Brady Bunch when he was in
freshman in college, Founders Dorm. Had a Brady Bunch contest. Me and my roommate won.
All right.
I'm going to go with Arlington, Texas, to go with the Texas Rangers.
Yeah. Okay. This is our consensus.
They have beautiful golf courses there, a lot of baseball players from there, and I know they did get some ice.
That's our consensus.
Yeah, we teamed up on this one.
You're actually kind of right as far as Ann B. Davis is concerned. She did live there, but it's not Arlington. Barry Bonds also lived here. They did get at least a quarter of an inch of ice here. This is Moon, PA.
Oh, Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah. No kidding.
We didn't even think about Pittsburgh.
No, we didn't. I just, for some reason, I got stuck in the South.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good.
That?
Very good.
Thank you. That was a good one.
I thought we nailed it. Yeah, well
done.
And it was a big move forward from last week because I looked closely at the picture and nowhere on the picture
we're not doing
did it say where it was.
Yeah, just golf pass because I was looking for sure.
Thanks, Jay. That was fun.
Thank you. Coming up, Amazon prices are going to be going up for Prime members. Your subscription price. We'll tell you when that hike goes into effect and what's different for new members versus existing members.
Then Little Olympians. We're going to take you to a local city that's turned their nature preserve into a tiny Olympic village. I want to visit.
And as we head to the break, we have our Black History Month moment. This lifelong Clevelander put health care and the education and welfare of children before all else when she became the first Black woman to represent Ohio in Congress. Tonight, we honor the legacy and contributions of Stephanie Tubbs Jones. Here's our Leon Bibb.
In her 3 decades of public service, Stephanie Tubbs Jones collected many firsts. First Black woman on the Court of Common Pleas in Ohio. The year, 1983. By 1991, first Black person and first female to serve as Cuyahoga County prosecutor. These accomplishments and her commitment to Cleveland helped pave the way for Tubbs Jones to become Ohio's first Black woman elected to Congress. She served as Congresswoman until her death in 2008. Her alma mater, Case Western Reserve, established a scholarship in her honor for women of color, and the residence hall also bears her name. In 2011, the Stephanie Tubbs Jones Health Center of the Cleveland Clinic officially replaced the old Huron Hospital. To date, it has treated nearly 600,000 patients and addressed health care needs in the East Cleveland community.
Hey, mic check. What's clicking in Cleveland? We have an exclusive interview with Katie Najad.
Right now, it's time to see what's clicking in Cleveland, and for that, we bring in our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney. Hi, Steph.
Hi, Hi there, Jay. You know, this first story, I have a hack for you, so pay attention to the end because those Amazon Prime membership prices, they are going up. And this is kind of surprising timing for a lot of people because their fourth quarter profits were double in 2021 what they were in 2020. But Amazon says it's offering more things and, you know, so it goes. So the new price is $20 more per year, starting in February for new customers, and for existing customers in March, it'll be $139. Now, here's that hack. If you can pay the lump sum, pay the yearly rate, because I took a look at this. I was wondering, geez, that sounds like not what I'm paying. I've been paying $13 per month, and that adds up to $156 per year. So if you can pay that lump sum, do it, and this might end up being a price cut for you. All right, so with the Olympics being top of mind right now, former Olympian, Olympic gold medalist Katie Najat talked with me on my 3 Things to Know podcast, and she revealed to me that she's been having some mental health motivational struggles after her gold win. Here's what she said about that in her own words.
I think having come off of the year that I did, I am struggling a little bit with just the motivation. It's my entire career, there's been this urgency of the Olympics, and pole vault by itself is really anxiety inducing for me. It's not a stress reliever, it is a stressor. It's a little scary for me, and so that urgency of, okay, the Olympics is coming up, you have to get this done, is now gone. And so I'm navigating pole vaulting without that, and it's been interesting.
Now, Katie tweeted today that it's not fun admitting that you're struggling, but this is her current reality, and she really wanted to be as transparent as she possibly could. So what she does is not easy. It is very scary, and she is working through that fear and her search for motivation with her coach. They're working on that together. And Jay and Betsy, what she does say is that she's very thankful for her win. She wouldn't have it any other way. She's got some big things that she's looking towards, the World Championships in Oregon coming up in July, also trying to beat that American and that world record. So lots of things that she's working on, got her eye on there.
And she's not far from it. I mean, this is within her reach, and of course we're pulling for her. Absolutely. Have a great weekend, Stephanie. I love your couch. I think that's a great sofa. I just wanted to point that out.
So nice.
I think that looks really nice.
It is very nice.
You have great days.
Stephanie.
All right, today's show is something good comes from Avon in Lorain County. I really do love the couch, Bets.
You're a brat.
That's where an area of the Metro Parks is having its fun with the Olympics, happening now in China. This is at Miller Nature Preserve, just off Center Road, where anyone can just drop in and have some Olympic fun. Take part in the mini Olympic outdoor activities for free. It's open from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. daily during the games, and registration is not required. Just show up and have a good time.
And as you may know, we have inside jokes, and this inside joke about Stephanie's couch is related to the 3 What's New Facebook page.
Yes, there was a fantastic thread, an investigative thread there yesterday.
And you know, we'll be right back.
After the break, we go live to Beijing with the latest on how the Winter Games are going, as day 2 is just beginning for the 2022 Games.
Yeah, hold on. I'm here, Al. Can you hear me? Okay, good.
I try.
Right.
Stephanie Haney.
Hey, testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Hello. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Good evening. Thanks for being with us. I'm Russ Mitchell. I'm Laura Queso.
Yeah, I'm sorry I took it from you. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. I'm Laura Queso.
Better on you.
Well, the Winter Olympics are officially underway after the opening ceremony and a fireworks finish at the Bird's Nest National Stadium.
NBC's Liz McLaughlin is in Beijing with the very latest.
Team USA is gliding towards the podium in the team figure skating event. The quad king Nathan Chen delivering a calm, clean short program.
Yes.
Redemption from his less than stellar finish in Pyeongchang.
Learn from mistakes, learn from the good, and just continue moving forward.
Momentum for a medal, with the U.S. in the lead after top-notch performances in rhythm dancing and pairs. The Winter Olympics now in full swing after the ceremonial start of the Games.
And the moment many of you at home have been waiting for.
And Team USA walking in the Parade of Nations.
Dinagir is a member of the Uyghur minority.
But a controversial ending to the ceremony, China choosing a Uyghur athlete as one of the torchbearers to light the final Olympic flame. The host country has been condemned for its treatment of the Muslim ethnic minority in Xinjiang, leading the U.S. and other nations to hold a diplomatic boycott of the Games.
This was a repulse to President Joe Biden for skipping these Olympics, and a message to the West. China won't be lectured to on human rights or on any other issue.
Politics and a pandemic overshadowing this Winter Olympics.
I'm wearing Canada's opening ceremony jacket today. Canada, Australia, Japan, Great Britain among the countries joining the U.S. in its decision to leave government officials at home while sending their athletes here to compete. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi discouraging athletes from protesting at the opening ceremony, saying the repercussions could just not be worth it, calling the Chinese government ruthless. China's own Communist Party warning athletes that they're not only subject to Olympic rule, but to Chinese law as well. Live in Beijing, I'm Liz McLaughlin. Back to you guys.
All right, Liz, thank you very much. Certainly a brazen move on behalf of China, kind of flaunting what the rest of the world is looking at, shaking their head. This is going to be interesting to see how these games play out. We're out of time. We thank you for joining us. We hope everyone has a great weekend. We're back at 5 o'clock on Monday, and we hope to see you then.
Yes, and 3 News at 6 with Russ and Laura starts right now.
Now at 6, snow cleanup.
I was stuck at the intersection, but I was able to get out because the snowplow was just coming down the street at that time.
From downtown Cleveland and beyond, the shoveling, scraping, and plowing underway tonight in the aftermath of the storm. Also, seeking justice.
I'm hurt.
A family is demanding answers after a Cleveland man is struck and killed by a hit-and-run driver. Pandemic to endemic? With dropping case numbers, state health officials give us a glimmer of hope. And let the games begin. The Winter Olympics in Beijing are now underway after a spectacular opening ceremony. 3 News at 6 starts now.
Live from WKYC Studios, this is 3 News at 6 with Russ Mitchell.
Hey, good evening. Thanks for being with us. I'm Russ Mitchell.
And I'm Laura Queso. Tonight, the cleanup continues after the second major snowstorm of this season.
It has been a day of shoveling and plowing and helping out drivers who got stuck in the snow.
Also a day of cancellations at Hopkins as flights slowly got back in the air.
Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Betsy Kling with a look at the week. It has been, a busy week weather-wise, Betsy.
Yeah, we're still dealing with some very light snow showers around northeast Ohio right now. The bulk of the storm is out of here. Whew, gone, done. We don't have to worry about it anymore. Just the very western periphery of what is left of the snow is now moving through our southeastern counties, and we're starting to see just a little bit of lake effect popping up coming off of a Lake Huron band. You can see that hitting in here toward the Vermilion area and Amherst and Oberlin. This will start to swing a little bit more to the east as we go through the evening, but you know, Lake Erie is like 90% ice covered, so we're not thinking this is going to end up blowing up into a big lake effect snow event. But we still have those light snow showers coming down in Stark, Tuscarawas, and Carroll counties, where they did get belted with snow last night. And of course, that was on top of a couple inches of sleet that fell. Here's a look at where temperatures are right now. This is the next part of our story. As the storm departs, the cold air moves in, and we have temperatures tonight that will go down into the single digits. As the snow is being cleared off the roads are wet, but the temperature is getting down into the single digits. That's territory where black ice can form even on salted roads. Now, there will be a lot of salt, so that helps to offset the effect a little bit, but I'm especially concerned about your driveways and your sidewalks, your steps, your porches, because if it looks wet, just assume tonight that it is ice. We will begin the climb back above freezing, and I'll talk all about that in your full forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, we look forward to that climb, Betsy. Thank you. We'll see you a bit later.
And just as the storm was moving in on Wednesday night, a pedestrian was struck and killed by a driver who police say kept going. We spoke with the victim's sister, who is seeking justice, and police are asking for your help finding the person responsible. Brandon Simmons has details.
We're here near the intersection of Northfield Road and Alexander, which is a very tricky section for pedestrians to navigate, considering there are no sidewalks, made even more dangerous on a day when it was raining. Police say Wednesday around 6:45 in the evening, 31-year-old Brandon Foster was leaving work, believed to be heading toward a nearby bus stop, when he was struck and killed by a driver who didn't stay on scene or bother to call for help. Foster was taken to a nearby hospital where he died. But now police are asking for your help finding the person who was behind the wheel, a message echoed by family members left to care for Foster's 3 children who are now left without a father.
I got some big shoes to fill right now because my brother was a good father. He took care of all of his children. So, yeah, I'm hurt. And I really want justice. And if you know something, say something, you know, so everybody could get some type of closure about this situation.
After finding damaged parts of the car at the scene, police know they're looking for a 2014 or later model black Toyota 4Runner similar to the one pictured here. It will have heavy damage to the front end. Police are also going through surveillance video from nearby businesses, hoping to catch a glimpse of the exact vehicle that was involved. Now, of course, if you have any information that could help police solve this case, you should not hesitate to give them a call. In Walton Hills, I'm Brandon Simmons, 3 News.
Former Strongsville priest Robert McWilliams died in prison this morning. According to the coroner, his death is being investigated as a homicide. McWilliams was serving a life sentence at a federal prison in Pennsylvania after he pleaded guilty last year to federal charges of sex trafficking, child porn, and exploiting children.
Northeast Ohio residents continue to shovel and blow their way out of the driveways and side streets today following Winter Storm Landon's punch. The city of Cleveland hit particularly hard, and our Mark Namick reports City Hall made some improvements to its snow removal efforts, but also found plenty of residents digging out.
No. Mother Nature testing patience and Cleveland City Hall's snow removal efforts, which have been criticized for leaving side street residents buried in snow. New Mayor Justin Bibb acknowledging after last month's snowstorm that change is needed.
I heard you. We need a new snow removal plan.
Thursday, the city routed crews to side streets earlier than in the past while trying to keep main roads clear. It also worked more closely with council members and community groups to encourage residents to get cars off the street. Though some calls to the city's snowplow hotline went unanswered, the city's overall snow response showed progress. Main roads were clear by morning. 3 News followed plows working the side streets around midday.
Well, it's been a little bit improved. I actually saw the plow come down the side street, but it was after I got stuck. The response is a little bit better than it was before. It's, some of the side streets are getting done. They usually weren't done until a couple of days after that, you know.
The city continues to say it needs new technology, more trucks and crews to handle big winter blasts, something that will take time and money. In the meantime, residents will have to lend each other a shovel and some muscle.
I've just decided to help out. I mean, I'm here in the neighborhood. I'm doing what I can with, you know. You just don't let anybody sit there when you see them in need, you know. You do what you can.
On Monday, city council members will get a chance to question the head of snow plowing. And it's worth noting, Laura, that the head of snow plowing today is the same person that's been in charge under Mayor Frank Jackson when the city got a lot of criticism for not making improvements fast enough. And I did hear from some council members that are upset that things are still not moving ahead fast enough, as you can see, like on streets here on the near east side where there's still a lot of shoveling and plowing to go. Laura?
Yeah, hopefully just things get better. Mark Namick reporting for us live tonight. Thank you so much.
Of course, it was not just the city of Cleveland digging out today. Areas of the south got slammed with heavy snow and ice as well. Will Ewick joins us now from Akron, where the cleanup will go into the weekend. Will, good evening to you.
Yeah, good evening, Russ. And you could see, if you can see it a little bit, it's the snow subsiding. Almost looks like a little bit of glitter here. A far cry from what they got hit over the last several days here in Akron. Is everything getting plowed? The cleanup underway down here. They're working on, got most of the main roads. They're working on those secondary roads. Some of the ones behind me here right now. They're hoping to have all those done in this 6 o'clock hour, and then they can work on some of the back roads, the third roads. Akron Zoo, meanwhile, closed down for the day, as is some of the other businesses as they kind of get going here. ODOT tells me that they still have crews working those 12-hour shifts, doing a lot more salt and brining now, a lot less plowing as the snow is finally dissipating here. But they're going to continue to work on that because, as Betsy's talked about, the cold temperatures, some black ice. Russ, I got to mention, on the way down to Akron, saw several spinouts on the side of the road on 77. Even though the road looked clear, still some black ice. So a little word of the wise, be careful out there still driving.
Certainly great advice. And Will Ewick, by the way, happy birthday.
Thank you very much, Russ. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Now to a family suing a local hospital system on allegations of an insemination mix-up, learning the father of their only daughter was actually a complete stranger.
A home DNA test led to that discovery. Marissa Sines has the story.
The Harvey family's most precious gift in life, their daughter Jessica, is not biologically what they've believed for the last 30 years.
We had no idea at that time that those events would ultimately turn our world upside down and lead us to where we are today.
Going back to 1991, Janine and Mike Harvey trusted Dr. Nicholas Spiritos, who is the chief of SUMA's Akron City Hospital's reproductive clinic. They wanted a baby.
We wanted a child who is genetically related to both of us.
The insemination takes place. They get pregnant, and in 1992 welcomed Jessica to the world.
We had no reason to think that Jessica was not ours.
Sharing memories of Mike's Italian roots, Jessica set out to explore more of her ancestry, planning a trip that began with a DNA test.
It took just one Christmas gift, a home DNA kit, to change our lives forever.
The test revealed Mike Harvey was not her father.
Sort of waking up in somebody else's life.
Dr. Spiritos used a stranger's sperm instead of my husband's.
Searching for answers and preventing this from happening again, the Harveys have filed a lawsuit against what is now the SUMA health system.
I would like to inflict some serious change. Truly, there are no words to describe and express what I've been through, what my parents have been through.
The dynamic of their family now feels uncharted biologically, but emotionally, the Harveys say that will never change.
And no matter what, you are my parents forever and always.
We will be the same strong, protective, loving family that we'd always been.
Yeah, and in response to the discovery and the lawsuit, Summa Health released a statement saying that it takes the allegations seriously and understands the impact this has on the family. Also, that it's hoping to meet with the family and conduct their own testing at the will of the family and their attorneys. Now, you might be wondering, who is Jessica's real father? Well, they have identified him. He is asking for his privacy. Jessica says she's been talking with him and that his response to learning that she's his biological daughter was, "I'm not scared. This is great news. I have a daughter." Russ.
Wow. All right. Marissa Signs in the newsroom. Thank you.
Let's get to the pandemic now. And today, Ohio saw the lowest number of cases since November 21st. That number is 4,004. And today is actually the 8th straight day below 10,000 cases. As cases continue their downward trend, Ohio health officials are feeling hopeful. Sarah Shookman explains today there was even talk of the coronavirus reaching a new phase. And Sarah, this is the news that we certainly want to hear.
We've been waiting years at this point, Laura, and we have heard the word endemic before, talking about illnesses regularly with us like the flu or the common cold. But for COVID, it has perhaps never seemed as close as we could be getting, at least here in Ohio. Today, the Ohio Department of Health Director, Dr. Bruce Vanderhoff, said Ohio's Omicron surge has followed that steep ice pick shaped curve we have seen in other countries, quickly up and quickly down. And in Cuyahoga County, at the front of that in December, we now have the lowest case rate per capita of all Ohio's 88 counties. He said, "We're hopeful more days like today could signal a new phase is near."
COVID-19 is almost certainly here to stay. So now the question for us is, how do we learn to live with it? And at what point have we moved from something that's truly a pandemic to something that's more endemic? And how do we make that transition in the best way?
Now, he stressed we are not there yet, as statewide cases are still more than 10 times what is considered high transmission. But in the months ahead, we could be talking about COVID as an endemic illness like the flu. But Dr. Vanderhoff and others warn we could just as likely be talking about a new variant. So it's the same tools, masking, vaccinations, and boosters for everyone who is eligible that will help point us toward one outcome and not the other, Laura.
So I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but the word endemic
sounds good, doesn't
it? I like the sound of it.
Yeah.
All right, Sarah, thank you very much.
It all started on a bus. Today is the birthday of civil rights icon Rosa Parks. And the Lake County Transit Agency, Lake Tran, is honoring her. Posters on some bus seats reading "Reserved" in honor of Parks, who famously refused to give up her seat in protest of racial segregation on a Montgomery, Alabama bus back in 1955. She passed away in 2005. Other transit agencies across the nation are also doing this in the honor of Rosa Parks, who would have been 109 years old today. Coming up tonight, officially open. The Winter Games are underway with a grand ceremony in Beijing.
Plus, how Team USA is doing in some of the early events. That's coming up for you in sports.
And this 3 News staple has returned to our back patio just in time for the Olympics. Collaborate and listen, as Robin Swoboda said when she christened the earlier ice desks a few years ago. I think she got that from somewhere.
Must have.
The ice desk is back. It'll be in place throughout the Winter Games, and we are back after a break.
3 News at 6 is sponsored by Calvetta Brothers Floor Show. It's time to fall in love again with your home.
From 31 different states.
14 months?
From 31 different states, 224 strong, the representatives of the United States of America.
The Winter Olympics are officially underway in Beijing.
The opening ceremony inside the National Stadium, also known as the Bird's Nest, hosted about 15,000 performers with another 15,000 spectators. Beautiful.
Beautiful ceremony. You can see it tonight, of course, right here.
Yes.
On Channel 3.
We are your home for the Olympics. We've also been your home for weather for what? Crazy the last week, thanks to you, Miss Betsy.
Exactly. Yes, I brought it all upon us. No, the news is that we're on the backside of this, and actually things are going to start to turn around beautifully for us. I know everybody wants it to heat up immediately, but that is not a good thing. We want a very slow and gradual warm-up. Let me break this down for you. This is the temperature trend over the next 5 days. We will be going above freezing, and we're going to hold there. This is good. There's a little trick, though. We kind of go below freezing again at night. Don't worry so much about that, but we will get some melting that is going on. I'm concerned about the melting if it goes too quickly because of all the water that we have in the snowpack. If you kind of reverse a few days, we kept saying that you have to unclog the drains and get everything opened up so that any water has a place to go. Well, we were saying that ahead of a storm coming. Now it's kind of the opposite. We want a nice, slow thaw and let that snow melt slowly because that's how the drains will handle it. It's a little easier for the system to take into account. So when you start to break down how much water is in the snowpack that's on the ground, there's a few areas that we really have a lot of water that is there. First of all, out east, because we are combining the snow that was already on the ground from the last storm to whatever fell during this storm, which was pretty significant too. And we're looking at 4 inches of water in that snowpack. So let it go very slowly. Farther to the south, where we had a lot of rain and the sleet and the freezing rain yesterday and the day before, well, we have about 3 inches of water that is locked into that snow and ice, and about 2 inches or so. There's some areas that have varied, estimates and whatnot, but if we can do this in a slow fashion, we avoid flooding, and especially river flooding. Remember, water will go to the lowest point, so we have that trickle-down effect in the waterways. The snowpack will melt, and that water gets down into your rivers, creeks, streams, ditches, and eventually we can have these problems with ice jams, which is what is going on now. These 2 little blobs that you see in green are flood advisories because of ice jamming on creeks. I would be most concerned about areas farther north where we have more, prevalent ice pack and ice on the rivers, but a slow thaw is where it is at. So the snowmen may stay intact here for a little while. That is certainly some good news. But the overall temperature trend for tonight is still to go down. So we're going to be in the teens, and by early morning, we will likely make it back into the single digits. We could have it where the temperatures crash right before daybreak, and then we'll see them pop back up once the sun comes up and we get some air movement. In the meantime, we are still dealing with light snow. Still dealing with light snow here in Northeast Ohio, especially off to the southeast of Canton at this point. A little tiny bit of lake effect that's ongoing for Lorain and Cuyahoga counties. So random flurries. This won't add anything more as far as accumulations. It's more just insult to injury. And you can see how we've got this little bit of lake effect that's coming in off of Lake Huron right now. Off to the west, crossing Lake Michigan. This is a little clipper. I don't think this is going to do much for us other than keep some clouds in play and then introduce a little bit of cold air to us. The coldest air in North America is locked in Canada still, so at least we don't have that to worry about. But it feels like it's the coldest air in North America because our wind chills right now are single digits. Wind chills tonight down around 0, if not below 0 at times. Let's go hour by hour in your National Design Mart forecast. The few flurries passing through. Look at these midnight temps. As the winds calm down, that allows that cold, dense air to settle, and there you see it. We're going to be down in the single digits. But wait, there's more. We could drop back toward the 0 mark, even some below 0 readings for a short time tomorrow, just as the day gets going, and then we should see the temperatures pop up. Isn't that magical? We'll probably be in the teens by midday, and here's the kicker. I don't know that we're going to make it that far out of the teens. The good news is we will get to see some sunshine. I don't know about you, I got to walk around downtown earlier today, and even with all the snow and the craziness that was going on, you got a little glimmer of that sun, and it just kind of made me smile. So sunglasses will be needed this weekend. That's great news. Here's your Union Home Mortgage forecast. We do get some sunshine in here for Saturday and for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday too. That's some good news, but we'll catch up with more snow showers and another clipper system coming our way next week. We'll deal with that later. For now, it's time for sports coming up next.
What a train wreck. Hey, how we doing? Hello, mic check. We're doing a mic check, and we are ready to roll. Getting you ready for the Winter Games. All right. What were we saying?
I didn't see you. Like you should have had it.
The Sports Report is sponsored by the people-pleasing people at Sarah Auto Park in Akron.
Good evening to you, getting you all set up for the weekend. Don't forget, tonight, right here on NBC in prime time, we will have the opening ceremony from the Winter Games in Beijing. And you know, we're keeping an eye on the athletes that have ties here to Ohio because the games have actually already gotten started. Yeah, they're already underway, and we'll be keeping an eye on U.S. ice dancers Madison Hubble and Zachary Donahue have already competed. Hubble's parents live in Sylvania, Ohio, just outside Toledo. Her mother makes her costumes for competitions. And speaking of competition, Hubble and Donahue, they helped USA finish first in the team event. No medals yet, but Team USA in a great spot right now. They are, for the team, the Americans are in first place just ahead of Russia and China, so that's great. And when it comes to U.S. figure skating, all eyes on Nathan Chen. He's been busy already in Beijing. His first skate was nearly flawless in the men's short program section of the team event. In fact, it was Chen's highest score of the season. All right, Red Gerard, 2018. We all remember it, right? In South Korea, he was 17 years old, won a gold medal in snowboarding slopestyle. This year, he's back at it, trying to win gold again. And we know that he still has ties here to Northeast Ohio. We learned that in 2018, right? When 3 News was at his watch party. And after winning the gold, he came back to Cleveland. He threw out the first pitch at a then Indians game. He was at a Cavs game throwing out T-shirts. I mean, he really became a big celebrity here in Cleveland, Northeast Ohio. He definitely has a special place for Ohio. He enjoys coming back, and he appreciates all the friends and family who have supported him.
It's a really special place for us to go back and visit. And yeah, I think like some of the main clips of them, like, you know, going all the way back over to America and looking at the watch party was from Cleveland, Ohio. And it's really cool. And I think it's really cool for my family and my mom and dad to see that side of Cleveland's like raise up and go to a place and watch snowboarding and watch me compete is pretty awesome.
Well, good luck to Red. And staying with the Winter Games, I find myself watching a lot of curling at like 2:30 in the morning this time of year. That's what I've been doing. Curling already underway. The Team USA mixed doubles curling team already in action. They're off to a 2-2 start. All right, don't forget the Olympic Zone is back. Join us tomorrow at 7 o'clock as we get you all set up for NBC's primetime coverage. We'll catch up with Rocky River's Red Gerard and see how winning a gold medal has changed his life. And much, much more. 7 o'clock on the Olympic Zone right here on Channel 3. All right, Cavaliers back at it tonight. They will be in Charlotte to take on the Hornets. No Darius Garland tonight. He's been dealing with a back injury. But I'll tell you what, the All-Star, I mean, what a job he has done for himself this season. Cavs and the Hornets will tip off at 7 o'clock. Let's give you more on Garland, though. An NBA All-Star. He's going to represent the East. We know there will be a draft and things, but what a season for him. He's averaging 20 points per game, 8 assists, 3 boards. He's been the total package and well-deserved All-Star selection for Darius Garland. Russ, Laura?
All right, Nick, thanks so much.
You got it.
And we thank you for watching. Lester is up next with Nightly News.
Front Row Friday night is coming up at 7 as well with Mike and Sarah. Good night. We'll see you back here at 11.